at intothecryptoverse.com, where you can get access to this risk metric. However, there are plenty of other metrics that you can use other than this one. This is just the one that I use, but I'm not trying to suggest that it is the best one. It's just the one that I've been accustomed to using essentially since 2019. So the risk metric varies between 0 to 1. So 0 is historically low risk, 1 historically high risk. And the idea is that we just look at historical price movements of Bitcoin and volatility of it and assume that we will stay within those bounds, with the assumption, of course, of sort of diminishing returns, right? So we've seen from one cycle to another, we've seen the risk metric go from really low risk levels to really high risk levels. And one thing I like about this risk metric is that I created it in 2019, and despite the fact that it's been around so long, it hasn't broken. Now, that doesn't mean that it can't break, but so far, we have never gone outside of the bounds that this risk metric suggested were theoretically possible at any given time. Even during the crash in March of 2020, we bottomed out at 0.13 risk, and in February, March timeframe of 2021, we went to the 0.9 to 1 risk band. So during the depths of the pandemic crash and during the heights of the rally in early 2021, despite the fact that you could have made a case for going lower or higher, we did not exceed the bounds of the risk metric. So back in early 2021, when a lot of people were calling for 300K, and I was very much in the diminishing returns camp, you can see that, again, the risk metric said back then that we were way too heated and we needed to cool off. Just like in March of 2020, the risk metric said, look, this is irrational and we're probably going to start going back up. And in late 2022, we were at low risk levels and we started going back up after that, right? So my strategy, which again, I mean, it's not perfect and it has changed over time. I used to buy Bitcoin up to 0.5 risk back over here in this cycle. But this cycle, the current cycle, I chose to be a little bit more risk averse and only buy up to 0.4 risk. And that's just, I think as we go from one cycle to another, it's natural for people in general to become more risk averse. And so because of that, I decided, hey, I'm still fine buying Bitcoin, but I'm only going to buy it up to 0.4 risk, right? So in ITC Premium, I listed my limit orders, right, according to the risk bands, a lot of them between 0.1 to 0.2 risk. In fact, the buys between 0.1 to 0.2 risk got filled multiple times because we sort of filled them, and then we went up, and then we came back down and it filled them again. But we have been above 0.4 risk for a while now, right? In fact, if you look at when we left the 0.4 risk band, let me actually highlight all of them here. You can see that we've been above 0.4 risk essentially ever since March of 2023. So I think the idea behind all this is that it can be challenging because, if you do buy at low risk levels, usually there's no one around to care. And then whenever the market inevitably goes up and you decide, hey, I don't want to keep on taking on more risk by buying more, then, new people come in, they buy, and then they laugh if you're not actively buying. But again, those people weren't necessarily here during prior periods.